Well, New York Attorney General Letitia James has been indicted, hit with federal fraud charges related to a mortgage taken on a home in Virginia.
All right, joining us right now to help us understand this, criminal defense attorney Arthur Aidala. We're all lawyered up this morning with you.
Yeah, it's I'll be honest with you. For me, it's like a sad day. Once again, I mean, I think you guys can go back and maybe play the tape of me here 2 years ago when Trump got indicted, not indicted, well, yeah, when he got indicted, but when he was charged by Letitia James for a very similar accusation. Like, this is not how the justice system is supposed to be used.
But they both accused each other of real estate fraud, basically.
Yeah, yes, that's what it is. They're both saying on these forms and these documents, and in both cases, there's really no victim. There's really nobody who got, even when under Trump, when he was found liable, the banks that were defrauded, they testified on his behalf,
and
saying we didn't lose any money. Right, we didn't lose any money. And here, I don't know, the taxpayers over a 30-year mortgage maybe are going to lose out on $18,000 over 30 years, which is a joke. You know, Letitia James ran as a prosecutor in her political campaigns saying that she was going to, if you elect me, I'm going to go after Donald Trump. And she said he wrote the art of the deal, but he was really the art of the steal. So she threw the first shot over the bow. And now he's back in office, and he's doing it to her.
But is she vulnerable?
And it stinks. It stinks.
Is she vulnerable?
I mean, it is. To say it's a strong case, I think would be a reach. I was not in the grand jury. I don't know what I think it's about checking off a box. And anybody who's done a closing, right? I'm a lawyer, yeah, and I've purchased a couple of homes in my life. The title closer comes in, gives you this pack of paper. You take out your pen, you're like, sign here, sign here, sign.
Right.
Like, no, only my father's the only guy who knows. Like, hold on, I got to read all of this.
Right.
But we don't read it. We just signed it. So apparently she checked off a box saying she was going to use it as a residence. They're saying, no, she didn't use it as a residence. She used it as a rental property. She's going to come back with a defense of saying, I have family members in there. They're not, you know, they're not paying me rent. They're family members. It's not an income-producing property. So, but the bottom line is, guys, it bastardizes our system. Yeah. They did it with Trump. It's equal. They did it with Trump with the criminal case, which is fugazi, and the civil case just got basically thrown out by a very liberal appellate division, a bunch of lawyers who would never be seen as being in Donald Trump's pocket.
So let me ask,
yeah.
No, let me ask you this here. So, how common is it, or is it uncommon, for the federal prosecutor to go after an individual case of mortgage fraud, as opposed to, like, you know, big corporate cases or large cases?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, look, it's not. Look, I'm always honest with you guys, okay? There was a U.S. attorney in that particular jurisdiction who was respected, and he said, I'm not going to bring the charges. And now he's gone. And now there's a woman in there who was never a prosecutor. She's a lawyer. She was never a prosecutor in her life. And she did bring these charges. She was President Trump's, one of his personal attorneys, supposedly. I don't know her.
Lindsay Halligan is her name.
Yes, but I mean, I don't know her. I know a lot of his personal attorneys, but I don't know her. So, you know, she's going to go in and she's going to say, this is vindictive prosecution, it's malicious prosecution. She's going to ask a judge to dismiss the case. I would think what Donald Trump, not President Trump, but Donald Trump is saying, hey, you put me through this, you put my son, both of my sons, you made my daughter come in and testify. You know, as any parent, you'd be seething that your children are taking the brunt for any of your actions or your political enemies. So he's saying, look, I don't care. I mean, I'm guessing.
Right.
But I don't care if this case gets dismissed. She's going to go down there. She's going to be processed like a criminal, the way I was up here. And it's a tit for tat, and it's not the way it should be. It shouldn't have been that way when they went after Trump, in my opinion. It shouldn't go that way after this. It's a bastard. You know, Justice Scalia, who is not exactly a friend of the criminal defendant, said it's not supposed to be you target an individual and then find the crime. You're supposed to target the crime and then find the individual who did it. And right here, you're talking about two people. The state attorney general said, I'm going to go after Trump. Then President Trump ran, and he said, I'm going to go after her. That's not the way it's supposed to be.
So just to follow up on that, then, we talk about when you get to trial, the merits of the case will determine guilt or innocence in front of a jury. But can the Attorney General use that as a defense? That, hey,
no.
The first person came in and said no.
I understand your question.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, but you said in front of a jury. So they have brought this case against Letitia James, not in New York, where I think a jury would be very favorable to her, but in a jurisdiction where a jury may not be favorable to her. But flip it around. They brought the cases against Trump in a jurisdiction that would be very unfavorable to him. He got 17% of the vote in New York City, and that's where they went after him. So again, both sides are playing these games with our justice system, and I'm a lawyer first. I'm not a politician. I'm a lawyer first. I want the system to be as pure and as based on justice as possible, not based on politics. That's why federal judges are appointed forever. It's not supposed to be that politics plays a role. They're not supposed to make rulings that that's going to please the electorate. They're supposed to make rulings that please our Lady Justice, which is supposed to be blind. But here it's becoming a Republican, Democrat, and it's, for me as a lawyer, growing up, my grandfather was a lawyer, my father's a lawyer. It sounds dramatic, but it's heartbreaking that the system's being bastardized and used. This is called lawfare. And it's not, there are plenty of crimes out there. You know, you could call me, I'll help you. But there's plenty of crimes out there that the federal government and the state government should be pursuing that don't have nothing to do with politics.
All right, we're almost out of time. I want to ask you real quickly here. We had the developing story this morning that Jack Ciattarelli's campaign is planning on suing Mikey Sherrill over the comments that he caused tens of thousands of deaths in his previous career. Defamation of a public figure. How difficult is that to prove? Is there any legitimacy in this lawsuit?
Defamation against a public figure is hard to begin with. In a political campaign, it's even harder, because the foundation of our politics is to let people speak freely about what their thoughts are, what their ideas are, and we don't want to stifle that. So here they would have to prove actual malice, that she had a meeting and they said, let's bring this up. We know it's not true, but let's bring it up just to hurt him with the electorate. And it's a very high standard, and judges are not. The United States Supreme Court said this years ago in a New York Times case. We're not going to try to stifle public figures, especially ones who are running for office. And we're going to allow this kind of silly speech, if you want to call it that, to go forward.
All right. Our stage manager, you're going to wear her out. She's going,
I know. I'm sorry. Listen, these are very important. Both of these are very important topics in the United States of America.
Lots of people have questions about it. When you hear these things, you don't know the legal aspects of it. So we thank you for coming in and clearing it up for us.
It's an honor to be able to serve the people of the city of New York. Seriously.
All right. We appreciate you.